This segment is all about selling your business in today's economy. Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial, and this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. Joining me on this segment is Jeff Bach. He's with Fusion Business Brokers. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Jeff, tell us a little bit about your work and specifically let us know who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping.
So the best simple explanation for what we do, because business brokers are a bit of a rarity, is if you picture us like a real estate agent or brokerage for business sales. So we help a seller bring their business to market, find them a buyer, put everything together from A to Z, literally, when the sale is complete. And the people we look for, frankly, is anybody who, for any reason, which there's many, wants to sell a business. Every business at some point in its life cycle is either going to sell or transition to family or, what have you.
Business owners that are looking to sell, is it oftentimes they're the first time going through the process? So, they're great at growing their business. How much thought do they put into the sale of it? And how prepared do you find they are when they reach out to you?
So sometimes vary, but usually they're not very prepared and haven't thought about it a lot. And most of them wait probably till it's a little too late. Selling at a peak or a level point is ideal. You can certainly sell when things have slowed down, but it's not the best time to sell. So commonly, people get to us not at the prime. So if people would think about it beforehand and maybe prepare, maybe meet with a broker, do some valuations, and at least know where they stand when the time comes, it would certainly benefit them.
Since many of the business owners don't know what they don't know about selling a business, what's probably the most common, question that you first get from a business owner when they reach out to you?
What's my business worth is the most common. Some people have no idea. Some people have a pretty good idea. Some people have an idea that's way off, whether it's too high or too low. Second most common is confidentiality. People should be worried about confidentiality. If people know that a business is for sale, it can damage the business in many ways. Hard to find employees these days, and employees, when things are uncertain, tend to look for other alternatives. Customers are always nervous if they know a business is for sale. So confidentiality should be their utmost concern.
With those two concerns that you mentioned, the value of a business and the confidentiality, can you give us a 10,000-foot view on how you help those business owners determine the value and, how do you keep it confidential?
So determining the value, and it's what we call a valuation. So it's a market valuation. It's not an actual appraisal, though we're pretty accurate. We've been doing this for decades. We gather a lot of information and knowledge from a seller and then give them a pretty good idea of what we believe the market will bear for their business. And then they can use that to guide them as to whether they want to list at this point, whether the price makes sense for them at this point, what they would have to do to change that valuation, to change that price. Super useful tool. We don't charge for that, never do. It's kind of how we earn our keep and build a relationship. The confidentiality, again, is very important. We are the only brokerage in the metro that every local buyer that we deal with, we meet them face to face. We are in a technology age. Here we are on a Zoom meeting. COVID got people really comfortable with meeting through technology. And while we market through technology and are cutting edge in that fashion, um, business acquisitions are very personal on both the seller and the buyer side. The seller should meet me and know me and trust me, or are my fellow agents. And on the buyer's end, it's even more important for me to understand their needs, their qualifications, their likes, their dislikes. They need to understand how important confidentiality is. So those meetings are done face to face. Frankly, it saves everybody a lot of time because the buyer will get a much better understanding of what it takes, what's necessary to purchase a business and to find the one that they're really looking for.
Jeff, what is the state of selling a business today, versus before the pandemic? What are the big differences?
So surprisingly, a little bit to me, because the economy is a bit rocky today. Right now, acquisitions are still strong. Interest rates are going up, and people have concerns. Um, but we've had great years. 21 was a great year. 22 has been a great year. 20, of course, was interesting as it was for everybody. Um, there's a lot of people in the pipeline that want to sell in the pandemic, and even now the economy has made them more aware of that situation. And frankly, as long as there's sellers, we rarely seem to have a shortage of buyers. It just sometimes gets a little bit more creative as to how that sale is completed, how it's financed, where the money comes from. So knock on wood, for now, it's still a very good market.
Interesting insight. Jeff, what inspired you to get into this business and help business owners sell theirs? How did you get started?
Kind of an interesting story. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've worked for myself, I think, since age 22, various different businesses. Um, then in 2009, I owned a motorcycle dealership, and that was a pretty strong recession in 2009 that came on us pretty quick. Motorcycles are wants, not needs. So the motorcycle industry was decimated, me along with it. And I tried to sell as a last ditch effort. And frankly, it was just an awful time to sell. So as that went away, I had a lot of reflecting time and kind of realized that through almost 30 years of business ownership in different businesses, I really liked the deal making portion of it more so than the operations side. So I talked to the people who tried to sell it for me. And here, almost 12 years later, I am still selling businesses. I get to make the deals. I don't have to worry about the operations so much. I love what I do. I do a lot of it. And that's kind of how I got in the business. Frankly, a decent percentage of our brokers get into the business in a similar fashion.
Before I ask you my last question, in regards to selling a business today in this market, is there anything I didn't think to ask you that you feel is really important to share with business owners considering selling now?
I think you did a pretty good job there. The main thing that I would say is if it's on a business owner's mind, don't wait to at least start the process. Doesn't mean that you need to sell today, but investigate, learn, talk to an educated broker. Might be a good time, might not, depends on industry. There's so many moving parts in a business sale. Get the ball rolling. And even if you're going to sell in a year or two, when economy hopefully turns around and does some different things, you want to be prepared ahead of time. You want to have the knowledge. You want to be in the right situation.
For viewers that are considering selling today that would like to speak with you, how can they find you and connect?
Multiple ways. You can always call me. That's the easiest way. My phone number is 314-941-8530. You can email me at jbach, J-B-A-C-H, at fusionadvantage.com. And you can also go to the fusionadvantage.com website. A lot of education, a lot of articles, a lot of information there. Read more about me. You can always contact me through that website as well.
Jeff, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and all of your clients.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me. It's been enjoyable.
That was Jeff Bach with Fusion Business Brokers, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.